Something massive is lurking in the freezing shadows of our outer solar system. It exists in the farthest reaches of space, so distant that the light from our sun can barely touch its surface. This is the mystery of Planet 9, a world that scientists have been hunting for more than 100 years. It is a colossal sphere of rock and ice, twice the size of Earth and potentially 6 times its mass. But here's the statistic that will haunt your imagination: a single year on this planet lasts 15,000 Earth years. To put that into perspective, while entire human civilizations rose from the dirt and crumbled into dust, this world would not have even reached the halfway point of its orbit. What is this giant, missing piece of our cosmic puzzle? How can something so enormous hide right in our own backyard without ever being seen? This is the greatest detective story in the history of modern science. And the answers we are finding could change everything you thought you knew about our neighborhood in space. To understand our future, we must first look to the past and realize how easily we can be deceived by what we think we know. For a long time, we felt we had mapped every corner of our solar system, but history proves we have barely scratched the surface. This realization began in 1781 when William Herschel discovered the 7th planet, Uranus, using a homemade telescope in his own backyard. He was not even searching for a new world. He originally thought he had simply found a comet. As astronomers tracked Uranus, they noticed something deeply unsettling. The planet was not following the path predicted by physics. At certain points, it accelerated, and at others, it seemed to be pulled backward. In the vastness of space, massive objects do not behave strangely without a reason. Something must be pushing or pulling them. In 1846, 2 mathematicians decided that their equations were more powerful than human sight. They calculated that another invisible planet must be disturbing the orbit of Uranus. They pointed to a specific coordinate in the night sky and told the world to look. Only a few hours later, Neptune was discovered exactly where the math said it would be. This mathematical triumph gave scientists a dangerous level of confidence. They believed that if the formula worked once, it would work every time. This certainty led to one of the most significant misunderstandings in the history of astronomy: the discovery of Pluto. While many grew up believing Pluto was the final frontier, it was actually a distraction that lasted for nearly 80 years, preventing us from seeing what truly matters. In 1930, the search for a 9th planet led astronomers to Pluto, but there was a major problem known as observation bias. Scientists were so desperate to find a planet that when they saw Pluto, they immediately claimed it was the one they were looking for. However, Pluto is tiny. It is bright and reflects a lot of light, which makes it look important. But it lacks the mass to move even a small asteroid, let alone influence the orbits of gas giants. In fact, the wobble that astronomers thought they saw in the orbit of Neptune was nothing more than a simple calculation error from that era. For decades, we were looking at a small piece of ice while a giant remained hidden in the dark. Over the last 30 years, our understanding of deep space has been transformed. We discovered the Kuiper Belt, a vast region beyond Neptune filled with millions of icy objects and rocks. Among these, we found thousands of worlds the size of Pluto and billions of smaller fragments. It was within this crowded debris field that the mystery of Planet 9 was reborn with undeniable force. In 2016, 2 renowned astronomers from the California Institute of Technology, Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin, noticed something that should not exist. They observed a specific group of objects in the farthest reaches of the Kuiper Belt that were all aligned in a way that was statistically impossible to be a coincidence. These distant bodies orbit the sun at bizarre angles and in directions completely opposite to everything else we know in our solar system. To verify this, they ran incredibly complex computer simulations. When they simulated the solar system as we currently know it, the numbers did not add up. But when they added the gravitational pull of Planet 9 into the equation, the results were shocking. The simulations predicted exactly what we see in the real sky. The evidence for Planet 9 has reached a point where it is no longer just a fascinating theory whispered in the halls of universities. It has become a mathematical necessity. When Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin analyzed the orbits of those distant Kuiper Belt objects, they did not just find a slight correlation. They found a pattern so precise that it defies every law of probability, according to their data and the massive computer simulations they conducted. The mathematical certainty that this planet exists is 99.6%. In the world of science, a percentage that high is as close to a sure thing as you can get without actually holding the evidence in your hands. It is the kind of number that keeps astronomers awake at night, staring at the ceiling and wondering how something so certain can remain so hidden. If the math is so incredibly accurate, and if we are almost certain that a giant world is orbiting our sun, the question that haunts every scientist is simple. Why do we not have a photograph of it yet? To understand this frustration, you have to realize the sheer scale of the search area. We are looking for a single dark object in a space that is billions of miles wide. At that distance, the sun is nothing more than a very bright star in the sky. There is very little light to reflect off the surface of Planet 9, and what little light does hit it must travel all the way back to Earth to be caught by our telescopes. It is like trying to find a single black marble dropped in a dark, empty stadium while you are standing in the middle of the field with only a tiny keychain flashlight. But as the search continues without a visual confirmation, some scientists have begun to propose theories that are much more exotic and, frankly, much more terrifying than a simple planet made of ice and rock. What if the reason we cannot see it is that there is nothing to see? What if Planet 9 is not a planet at all, but something far more ancient and dangerous? There is a growing theory among physicists that we might be feeling the gravitational pull of a primordial black hole. These are not the massive black holes formed by collapsing stars that we usually hear about. Instead, primordial black holes are hypothetical objects that would have formed in the high density and extreme heat of the universe just seconds after the Big Bang. If this theory is correct, we are looking for an object that has the mass of 5 Earths, but is only the size of a bowling ball. Think about that for a moment. A tiny point of infinite density, no larger than something you could hold in your hands, yet possessing enough gravity to pull on entire worlds and reshape the outer reaches of our solar system. If this is the case, traditional telescopes that look for visible light will never find it. We would be hunting a ghost that swallows light instead of reflecting it. It would mean that a remnant from the very beginning of time has been orbiting our sun for billions of years, undetected and silent. There is also a third possibility that is just as unsettling for the scientific community. Some researchers suggest that the perturbations or strange movements we are seeing do not come from a hidden object at all. Instead, they argue that our understanding of gravity itself might be flawed. Most of our laws of physics are based on the work of Isaac Newton, but Newton developed his theories by observing the inner solar system. He never saw anything beyond Saturn. It is possible that when we reach these extreme, cold distances so far from the sun, the laws of gravity as we know them start to change or break down. Whether it is a giant ice world, a tiny, ancient black hole, or a fundamental misunderstanding of the laws of nature, the truth is out there, waiting in the dark. We are currently caught in a strange limbo between mathematical perfection and visual emptiness. We know something is there because we can feel its weight on the scale of the universe. But until we can point a lens at it and see it for ourselves, it remains the ultimate cosmic mystery. We are standing on the edge of a discovery that could either confirm our place in the solar system or completely rewrite the textbooks on how the universe works. If this massive entity truly exists, the next logical question is one that challenges our entire understanding of how a solar system is born. Where did it come from? How did such a colossal weight find its way to the frozen, lonely edges of our neighborhood? The answers scientists are exploring are as dramatic as a Hollywood epic, involving celestial kidnappings, violent family feuds, and ancient relics from the dawn of time. One of the most captivating theories suggests that Planet 9 might be an orphan, a wandering world that once belonged to a completely different star system. Imagine a young planet, born around a distant sun, suddenly stripped away from its home by a passing star or a cosmic collision. It would have drifted through the terrifying, lightless void of interstellar space for millions of years, a frozen traveler in the dark. Eventually, it may have wandered too close to our own sun. In a moment of gravitational capture, our sun reached out and pulled this lonely orphan into a permanent, distant orbit. If this is true, Planet 9 is not just a neighbor. It is an alien visitor that has been living with us for billions of years, a silent witness from a world we will never see. However, not all scientists believe Planet 9 is an outsider. Another theory suggests a much more violent domestic origin. In the chaotic early days of our solar system, The giants we know today, Jupiter and Saturn, were not the stable guardians they are now. They were massive, growing monsters, locked in a brutal gravitational struggle. This celestial fight for dominance would have sent ripples of destruction throughout the system. During this period of intense instability, Planet 9 might have been born much closer to the Sun, perhaps near the orbits of Jupiter and Saturn. But in this game of gravitational billiards, the smaller planet was the loser. It was kicked out, launched like a stone from a slingshot, into the deepest, coldest depths of space. It did not escape the Sun entirely, but it was banished to the shadows, forced to walk the perimeter of our system in a 15,000-year-long exile. But what if the explanation is far more sinister? Some physicists suggest that we are not looking for a planet at all. They propose that what we are feeling is the gravity of a primordial black hole. This is not the kind of black hole that swallows entire galaxies. This would be a tiny, ancient relic from the very first seconds following the Big Bang. It would be a concentrated point of mass, no larger than a bowling ball, yet possessing the weight of 5 Earths. Because it would not emit or reflect any light, no telescope using traditional optics would ever be able to find it. We would be living with a piece of the beginning of the universe right on our doorstep, a dark anchor pulling at the edges of our reality. Finally, we must consider the possibility that the mystery is not about what is out there, but how we think. Our current understanding of gravity is based on the laws established by Isaac Newton. These laws have served us well for centuries, but Newton based his observations on what he could see, and he never saw anything farther than Saturn. Some researchers argue that when we reach these absurdly large distances from the Sun, our current physics might simply be wrong. Perhaps there is no Planet 9 and no black hole. Perhaps the laws of gravity change when you get far enough away from the light, and we are seeing the symptoms of our own misunderstanding of the universe. Whether it is an alien orphan, a banished sibling, or a dark relic from the Big Bang, the hunt for the truth is reaching its climax. For decades, we have been trapped in a state of scientific limbo, caught between the mathematical certainty that something massive is out there and the frustrating reality that we cannot see it. We have relied on theories, simulations, and the strange behavior of distant ice rocks to tell us a story that our eyes could not yet confirm. But the era of guessing and waiting is finally coming to an end. We are no longer limited by the telescopes of the past, and fortunately, we will not have to wait another 100 years to find the truth. The rules of this cosmic game of hide-and-seek are about to be rewritten by a monumental achievement in human engineering. Enter the Vera Rubin Observatory, located high in the thin, crisp air of the Chilean mountains. This facility is home to the most advanced telescope ever constructed by human hands. It represents a leap in technology so significant that it makes everything we have used before look like a primitive tool. This is not just a telescope that peers into the dark. It is a machine designed to map the entire sky with a level of detail that was previously unimaginable. At its heart lies the largest digital camera ever built in the history of the world. This camera is so powerful and its field of view is so wide that it will scan the entire visible sky every 3 days. Think about the implications of that capability for a moment. Instead of taking static, disconnected photos of specific stars, the Vera Rubin Observatory is effectively creating a high-definition, time-lapse movie of our entire universe. In the past, searching for a distant planet was like trying to find a needle in 1,000 haystacks using a magnifying glass. You could only look at one tiny spot at a time and hope you were lucky. But now, we are essentially setting the haystacks on fire and watching for what does not burn. Because this telescope captures the same regions of space over and over again, it can detect the smallest changes that occur over time. Operations for this groundbreaking project have officially begun in 2025. This means that as you read these words, that the most powerful eye on Earth is already beginning to peel back the layers of the dark over the next 10 years. If Planet 9 is truly out there, it will have absolutely nowhere left to hide. The telescope will achieve this by detecting the planet's slow and constant movement against the backdrop of billions of distant stars, while the stars appear fixed because they are so far away. Any object within our own solar system will reveal itself by crawling across the frame, one frame at a time. But the discovery of a new planet is only the beginning of what this machine will accomplish. As it watches the sky, the Vera Rubin Observatory will reveal secrets we did not even know we were looking for. It will detect thousands of new comets entering our inner solar system and identify dangerous asteroids that could one day pose a threat to our own world. It will map the movements of millions of objects in the Kuiper Belt, providing us with a clear picture of the architectural history of our cosmic home. And finally, after a century of searching and decades of debate, it will likely allow us to officially welcome the true ninth member of our solar family. We are standing on the precipice of one of the most important moments in the entire history of astronomy. The silence of the outer solar system is about to be broken. We are moving from the age of shadows into the age of light, where the ghosts of our mathematics will finally take on a physical form. The tension among scientists is palpable, as every 3 days brings a new set of data that could contain the image that changes everything. We are no longer just wondering if we are alone in the dark. We are actively turning on the lights to see what has been watching us from the edge of the sun's reach. We are living in one of the most extraordinary periods in the history of human exploration. We stand at the threshold of a discovery that will be remembered for as long as humans look at the stars. This journey, which began with the simple observation of a wobbling planet over 200 years ago, is finally reaching its climax. We have moved past the era of accidental discoveries and entered an age where our mathematical intuition and our technological reach are finally merging. We are about to witness one of the most important moments in the history of astronomy, a moment that will redefine our understanding of the place we call home. As we wait for the first definitive images from the Vera Rubin Observatory, we are left to contemplate the true nature of this mystery. What exactly is waiting for us out there in the freezing dark? Is it a majestic ice giant, a lost sibling of Neptune that was kicked out of the inner circle during a violent cosmic birth 4 billion years ago? If so, its discovery will complete the map of our solar family and teach us how planetary systems evolve and stabilize over eons. Or perhaps the truth is even more exotic. Could it be a primordial black hole? A tiny but incredibly heavy relic from the very first seconds of the Big Bang? Such a discovery would change physics forever, providing us with a direct link to the beginning of time itself. There is also the humbling possibility that there is no physical object at all. It is possible that our current understanding of the laws of physics, the very rules we use to navigate the universe, are slightly flawed when applied to the vast distances of deep space. If our interpretation of gravity is wrong, then the hunt for Planet 9 is not just a search for a new world, but a search for a new way to understand reality. Regardless of the outcome, the answer is already there, etched into the orbits of the distant rocks of the Kuiper Belt, waiting for us to finally see it. If you have stayed with us through this entire journey, it is because you share that same ancient human fascination with the mysteries of the cosmos. We are a species of explorers, and the vastness of the universe is far too grand to keep its secrets to ourselves. Within the next 10 years, the shadows will be illuminated, and the ghost of the outer solar system will finally be revealed. We will either give a name to a new world, or we will rewrite the laws of science that have governed our lives for centuries. Now, we want to hear from you. After seeing the evidence and the theories, what do you believe is lurking out there? Do you think it is a lost giant of ice and rock, a miniature black hole from the dawn of time, or simply a miscalculation in our laws of physics? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, as we love hearing from fellow explorers who are as curious about the stars as we are. If this story of cosmic detective work moved you, please consider leaving a like to help this content reach more people who are searching for answers in the dark. We invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you can stay informed as we closely follow every new update and discovery from the Vera Rubin Observatory. We will be here to tell you everything as it happens in the first person. As we finally count the true members of our solar family, do not forget to share this video with a friend who loves the mysteries of space, because the universe is a much more beautiful place when we explore it together. Thank you for joining us on this incredible voyage. Until our next discovery.